All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Team Set It Off weekly call. It is Jen. We are here. We're doing it on a different day. These team calls are really important to me, and I always want to have us get together and touch base every single week, because there are some important things that, I think to talk about and be about. And yeah, I'm doing something fun tomorrow. I'm going to a comedy show, so I wanted to get this non-negotiable done for this week. So let me share my screen. Yee. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. Here we go. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about a growth mindset. So first things first, though, we're going to do some recognition like we always do. So to start it off, we have some Success Club people to recognize. Crystal Alexander has hit Success Club for this month already. And then some other people have points on the board. I cannot say those two girls' names to save my life. I doubt they'll watch this. But in the off chance that they do, I'm not going to butcher their names. But they are in Crystal's downline. Whitney also has some points. Vanessa, Aaron, and myself, we all have Success Club points on the board. And then, as always, every single week, we have recognition for, I call it, I see you, baby. And there's shout outs for people on our team. I post in the team page on the day of our team calls, but whenever you have something that comes up and you want to recognize someone else on our team, or something that you're really proud of and you want to be recognized, because trust me, I understand. I don't really have anybody that recognizes me as far as my upline. So I try to do a really good job with everyone that's in my downline to make you guys feel like you're a part of a community, and that, you're noticed and that you're appreciated and celebrated. So I understand that sometimes, we only see what we can see. And so if you do something really cool that you're like, man, I'm so proud of myself for doing this, send me a private message and let me know that you want to be shouted out, and we will take care of it, because I think it's important to celebrate yourself if no one else is recognizing you. So this was the one entry for this week. It's for Ashley Hurley, one of Noella's coaches, and the recognition says, because she stuck really hard to her goals during the holidays, she stayed on track for Thanksgiving and staying strong through December. She even said no to fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to say no to those. That's dedication. And even though she's not reaching her goals as quickly as she imagined, she's sticking to them and pushing forward. My goodness, there are other people on the team that feel the same exact way. She's learning to trust the process. She's overcoming a lot of internal resistance to the changes, and I'm so proud of her for sticking it out. She's such an amazing and inspirational person, and I'm so glad to have her a part of my team. She's going to achieve great things and already has. So yay! I can't tell you how amazing, what a gift words are. Like, you have this incredible gift that you could be giving coaches on your team, or just even people that inspire you on our team. I mean, for the most part, you can never be told, that you're doing a good enough job, right? I mean, words are truly gifts. They can either lift us up or tear us down. And so the fact that we have this amazing ability to lift people up for free, just by being authentically you and being genuine with your heart. So please, 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 I'm going to say it again, send me your nominations, and we'll recognize people every single week. Other people that I just wanted to quickly recognize, because we only had one nomination for this week, so I wanted to go ahead and recognize some people that were on my radar. So Crystal, who's on this call, hey girl, hey. Me and her had a mentorship call yesterday, which was just, it's so nice, and says a lot about somebody when they reach out and say, hey, we need to do a call together, because not a lot of coaches do that. And it was really nice to just connect with her and hear about her long-term goals as far as her own weight loss journey and what she wants out of this and why she's a coach. And so I'm proud of both of us for hopping on the call on a Sunday. Erin, wanted to shout out Erin because she got her emerald back. So she lost her emerald for a few weeks and she regained it back. So yay! And then Shavana, which is one of Erin's coaches, is actually, I think today is her last day of her Ultimate Reset, which is such a huge, huge deal. And so I wanted to congratulate her for finishing the Ultimate Reset, because that is quite the feat in itself. I wanted to recognize Kelly. I'm sure everyone that follows us is like, you're going to recognize Kelly? Yes, I'm going to recognize Kelly, because she is my inspiration and my soul sister, and somebody that, you know, even when the world is maybe crumbling around her, you know, where I could see other people just losing it. I mean, even for myself, you know, finding that silver lining and knowing that things are going to be okay, and she leans in and not out when she's having a tough time, and she sees a light at the end of the tunnel. So I just wanted to shout her out for being an incredible coach and an incredible person. And this is just one of those seasons, you know what I mean? It's just, it teaches us a lot about where to go from here. And, you know, when you have that season of being able to harvest, it'll make you appreciate this more difficult season. Another person that I wanted to recognize was Michelle, which is one of Kelly's coaches. You know, I scroll through my Instagram, and you know, I see people posting, and I consistently see Michelle talk about her Shakeology and her workouts, and it's so cool to see, you know, someone that is not one of my coaches, you know, directly, you know, spread that inspiration. You know, you may feel like a post isn't that big of a deal, but when you explain and you share a story and you share what you're doing, people notice. They may not say something, they may not even like the post, but they see it in passing. And so it's really cool to see you know, people in our downline and our coach fam, you know, share their joy. And then of course Samantha is somebody that I just, one day I'm going to grow up and be like Samantha, because the way she expresses her words and articulates her thoughts is just amazing. I cannot wait for those of you that are in the Core de Force test group that aren't necessarily in our December group yet to witness the amazing writing skills of Samantha, and just her consistency and her positive light and her energy. And even though she's kind of like in a plateau, she feels like right now, we were just talking about it today, she just maintains this amazing attitude that I just like, if I weren't her coach, I'd want her to be my coach. And then last but not least, Sarah Yu. Sarah Yu is one of Kelly's coaches, and I see her post every single day in our Core de Force test group, and she sweats and she works, and it's just, she totally, like, there's a certain people that I see every single day when I go through and check the groups, and there are certain people that I just smile every time I see their post, because that consistency, it seriously warms my heart, makes me so proud of what we're doing. And that hopefully inspires the rest of the team. So anyways, that was a long recognition. I was like, yeah, really quickly, I'm just going to talk about these people. So again, if you have anybody that you'd like to shout out or recognize, or you would like to be shout out or recognized, please send me a private message and let me know. Okay, let's get to the content. So you want to grow. You want to grow, and I picked this image because I think it's so powerful. The difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. It's that difference between failure as an opportunity to grow versus failure is the limit of my abilities. You know, I can learn to do anything that I want, or I'm either good at it or I'm not. You can tell by the fixed mindset how limited it is. I don't like to be challenged. I can either do it or I can't. My potential is predetermined. When I'm frustrated, I give up. Feedback and criticism is personal, and I stick to what I know. And versus a growth mindset where, challenges help me grow, my effort and attitude determines my abilities, feedback is constructive. Feedback's one of those things where it doesn't, like, for me, I understand that it's so valuable, but there is that part of you, that little voice in your head, for at least for me, because I'm really hard on myself, where it goes, yeah, you're not that good. And you just have that. It's okay to have that voice in your head, for those of you that are like me, where when you're told something that you can improve upon and you go, oh, because you just want to be the best at everything and never do anything wrong and never offend anybody. But you just have to like use the feedback, figure out what you can use, what's constructive, what's something that is just like, it is what it is, it's whatever, and then move on from it. But I just wanted to draw attention for the little voice in the back of our heads that sometimes throws us off, that it's normal. It's a thing that's there, and you just have to go, hey, little voice in my head, shut up, and move on. Someone with a growth mindset is inspired by the success of other people. That's a huge one. That's a big thing I've learned, particularly for myself, is not to be, sometimes I used to look at other people's success and go, I can never do what they do, or I'm not good enough, or you'd have all the limiting beliefs come into your head. And now I'm in a space where I can see other people's successes and go, I want that. I can do that. If she can do that, I can do that too. And then having that idea that you like to try new things, and that like, I'm going to repeat it again. Failure is an opportunity to grow. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So with this idea between a growth and a fixed mindset, the biggest question I want to ask you, and remember, I hope you're taking notes. And I also hope that you talk out loud. It's okay if people are around you and you're talking to yourself. It's cool. Don't even play me like you don't talk to yourself when you're alone. Come on now. I have full-blown conversations by myself. But I'm asking you, what influences you? What influences you? Like your day-to-day mindset, your day-to-day thoughts, your day-to-day moods. What influences you? And I'll tell you, I kind of have some ideas what influences you. Because what you feed yourself, what you focus on, you'll get more of. And so if you're somebody that you watch a lot of news, or even like on your Facebook, if you have like a lot of people that are super into like arguing politics, arguing about differences in opinion, media in general, that has an effect on you. It really truly does. I mean, turn on the news for like 15 minutes and tell me you don't have like a full-fledged panic attack, because they don't talk about, oh, look at this beautiful thing that happened in the world today. Isn't it so amazing? What do they talk about? Here's the latest shooting. Here's the latest crime. Here's what the president said. Here's what these other people said. Here, it's just like it's there to heighten your fight or flight response and to make you fearful. And so I definitely think that's a big influencer. Another big influencer are the people that you have in your day-to-day life. Who do you surround yourself with on a consistent basis? It's that idea that you're most like the 5 people you hang around the most. So if you are hanging around people that are always upset, there's always something wrong, they don't have any money, their health is in jeopardy, just think, if you're around that constantly, that's what you're going to breed. It's that same idea that like a teenager, if they went on the varsity team and they're a freshman, what level do you think they'll play out versus if they were just a freshman on the freshman team, right? And they were the best freshman. They would, if you are the best person out of your group right now, that should be concerning, right? You need to get a new group. You need to surround yourself with people that make you uncomfortable, that make you want to raise your standard. And then last but not least, at least for me, and I'd be interested to know what influences you, what comes to mind when I ask that question. For me, it's definitely your past. The past stories, the stories you tell yourself. When something makes you upset, when something makes you frustrated, overwhelmed, sad, any of those emotions where you feel stuck, asking yourself the question, what does this mean? That is like the questions you ask yourself on a moment-to-moment basis really determines your level of happiness and your level of fulfillment. If you're asking yourself, why does this always happen to me? Why me? Why this? Ask yourself more intelligent questions and you'll get more intelligent answers. The thing I have to say before I move on to the next slide, that came to my mind was that if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? Like you're just resorting back to the same tactics, the same strategies, the same thought patterns, the same everything, and you're expecting it to be different somehow, that's insanity. I know you've all heard that quote, right? That's insanity. And not the good insanity with Shaun T. It's the bad insanity where, if you keep trying to solve the same problem with the same level of consciousness, you're just going to stay at that limited space. So why is it hard to make a shift in what to do? So some things that come to my mind as far as why it's hard to get out of a limited mindset is that it's uncertain. It's that level of uncertainty that you don't know what it's like to be in that state of mind. It's judgment, it's struggle. It's ultimately the death of the story of the old you. If you're somebody that you've always had to struggle, it's always been hard for you, life is always beating you down, and you can't catch a break, and things are just, they're never easy, right? Like that story, because that's all it is. Things happen and circumstances happen, and two people can have the same thing happen to them, but have completely different stories from it and different outcomes, because it's not the situation that is the thing that determines your outcome. It's the story that you attach to it. And so sometimes it's really hard to make those changes within ourselves because we're attached to that story. And if we let it go, if we try a new approach and it doesn't work, then how will we get love? Then will we be enough? And it's always really scary. And so sometimes, we will say out loud, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But then if something doesn't go the way we want it to go, then we immediately come back to our safe space, the place that we know, the place that makes us, it may not serve us, and it may not even make you feel good, but it's what you know. And so what the remedy to this is getting leverage. It's that idea of being, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Things have to change. You cannot live another day like this, because if you say, oh, I want to do this and this and this with coaching, and you just kind of throw some goals out there like I've done for years, where I was like, oh, I want to be a 1-star diamond. And I just kind of threw it out there, and I was just like, and just kept saying these goals out loud. Just because I was saying them out loud didn't mean I had any leverage to get there. The way I had to get leverage on myself to really start taking action was I had to start thinking about the future. I had to give myself Tony Robbins calls it like the rocking chair test. That if you're 85 years old, sitting in your rocking chair and thinking back on the things you did in your life, what would be your biggest regrets? What would be that thing that you're like, man, I wish I would have seen where that could have gone. Even if I had failed at it, even if it didn't work out, I wish I would have just explored that option. Right? So I had to give myself leverage in that sense of thinking, wow, when I'm 80 years old or when I'm ready to retire, and was this all there was? Like, I always knew I had something deep down inside of me that was something more than just being a payroll administrator or being a recruiter. That gave me comfort, that gave me security in the sense that like I could pay my bills. But I just, when I'd be alone with myself, I had this nagging feeling that there was more to life than just paying my bills and then, and then that was it. And then asking for vacation maybe twice a year, 3 times a year. And then waiting until I was like 60 or 70 to finally relax and have fun. So a strategy, and we've talked about this in the past, it's the RPM strategy, where you can think of it RPM, like revving your engine, right? Is focusing on the outcome that you want, so the results that you're after, finding your purpose behind it, so finding your why. And then the last one is massive action. So just kind of creating this list of action steps that you can take towards its attainment. You know, if you say your desired outcome is that you want to lose 50 pounds, and the reason why you want to do that is because you want to feel comfortable in your own skin. You want to know that you're going to be around for a long time, that you're not going to have these health issues, that you're not going to have, Alzheimer's or dementia, like people in your family, or just like you create this purpose and this deep-seated meaning behind it that means something to you. And then that massive action list is just, what can you do now? What are the little steps you can do? Okay, commit to a program. Make sure I drink Shakeology every day. Make a calendar of when I'm going to do my workouts. Make sure that I have like pre-workouts, so that, just creating a massive action list on what you can do towards that attainment. But the thing that I don't know why I put that there. But the last thing on this slide, it says coaching is not for everyone, but it is for you. And the reason why I say that is because it really isn't for everyone. This isn't everyone's calling, that's for sure. But if you're on this call or you're listening to the recording of this call, there is something that I know in my gut that it's December. This is when people take their foot off the gas. This is when people check out. Oh, hi. Oh, no. I hope I didn't lose my Wi-Fi. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hold on.
Oh, good, she's back. Yay, you're back, but you're muted. Unmute yourself, beautiful.
We were just continuing the conversation.
You're on mute. You're muted, Jen. Are you unmuted?
It's still recording.
Yes.
I hope that it will have the whole entire thing.
So. It was fine. We stopped at December and we just talked a little bit about growth mindset while you were gone. So you can just continue.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Something kicked off the breaker. Anyways, let me screen share because I was getting to the good stuff, which is strategies. Okay. So anyways, I was saying that coaching isn't for everyone, but it is for you if you're watching this call and you have decided to commit to yourself and commit to the rest of this year and commit to 2017. So this is the fun part. This is the strategies. So we talked about, because I always say this because I feel like it's so true, that success is 80% psychology and 20% strategies. So just getting your mindset right and knowing why you want to have a better mindset is half the battle. Right? If you are open-minded, if, even if there's that part of you that's like, I don't know, is this going to work for me? I call that your little voice, right? The little voice in the back of your head that's just kind of trying to be like, well, I mean, is it really going to work? So you just kind of have to go, you have to acknowledge it and go, hey, I hear you. I hear you. The part of me that doesn't believe that I can fully develop and that I deserve, all the greatness that's within inside of me. But you have to understand the thing that I have learned in the last 2.5 years with coaching and reading these books and being diligent on my personal development is that if all these things work for all these other people, same thing with our fitness programs. Like if it's going to work for all these other people, you're not the exception to the rule. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not the defect, right? If it can work for everyone else, it can work for you. So here are these strategies to grow with your coaching and develop yourself as a healthy and happy and fulfilled human being. So I would say the number one thing is to plug in to the resources that we have as coaches. So listening to the National Wake Up Call. This one, oh my gosh, the National Wake Up Call from this morning was fire. It was amazing. Like, it was so good that when I listened to it, when I got done with it and I did my core to force workout, it was like the best workout I did all month. Because they just Jimmy Nelson talked about this concept of the 3, 2, 1 when they count down in the workouts, and how most people kind of back off and they're like, okay. And I've done that. I'm pretty sure all of you've done that, where they're like 3, 2, 1, and you kind of like pull back a little bit, or you might even stop what you're doing because you're like to get up out of a move or whatever, but he was talking about that could be that 2 millimeter difference, between you getting, good results versus outstanding results. And so that National Wake Up Call was amazing. But I remember when I was hungry, and I think I posted a Les Brown video about being hungry. I love Les Brown. He is so amazing. You guys need to watch his videos if you haven't. He makes me laugh because he laughs at his own jokes when he does his videos, and it's the funniest thing. So anyways, being hungry, being willing to learn, like if you have, they have the archives in your back online office, but also if you have a podcast app on your smartphone and you go to Team Beachbody, they have all of the National Wake Up Calls listed, and you can go through and see what titles speak to you and listen to them and take notes and apply. And same thing with like on YouTube, if there's anything that you want to know more about, normally it has to do with inviting. If you just type like some stuff about inviting or how to invite, or, anything you want to know. I mean, we have a network of 450,000 plus coaches who all eagerly share their information. So plugging into the National Wake Up Call, going to live events. I should have put Summit on here. I don't know why I didn't. But Super Saturday. So the next one is on January 7th and 8th. If you need help finding a Super Saturday near you, or hosting your own, if you're not anywhere near a Super Saturday or can't make it to one, connect with your upline, connect with us on the team page. But this should be a non-negotiable. This is something that every 3 months we get together as a community and we plug in and we find out what's coming up for the next quarter. You get to hear success stories. You get your cup filled with like-minded people. It's like going to a sporting event, or it's like going to a concert. You can love a sports team on your own, or love a musical artist on your own, or even though, but when you get together with people that all love the same thing as you do, it's electrifying. There's just something you can't really put your finger on until you're there. So just take it from all of us that go to Super Saturdays every single quarter that it's a non-negotiable. Team cups, I'm pretty sure there's like a team cup coming up in February, but any like team calls, anything where it's a community thing. Right? We're all doing something together instead of being freaked out and of being like failing or being put on the spot or whatever. You want to lean into the community rather than out. Taking personal development seriously, getting an Audible account. You guys, it's only like $15 for an Audible account, and you get your first month free. It is the best investment that you can make in yourself, especially for those of you that are so busy that you can't sit down and read a book, or maybe you fall asleep when you read a book. Getting yourself a book every single month, committing to listening to it, taking notes, even like the best thing that you can do is read a chapter or listen to a chapter in a book, and then like tell somebody about what you just learned, or write a social media post about it, so that you can really embed it into your nervous system and into your subconscious. Or, if you can't afford Audible, go to the library and get an audiobook that way, or go check out a book. But always being a student, always being hungry, as Les Brown. And always being a student, always being curious, and knowing that you don't have all the answers, and that you can always learn from somebody that has done it before, right? There's power in that. You don't have to figure it out on your own. You just learn from people that have done what you want it to do, and just repeat it and put your own flavor and your own spin on it. And then the last thing is setting goals. So, I mean, half of us, on the coaching family don't even set goals, right? Because it feels too overwhelming. We don't want to disappoint ourselves. But setting goals, writing them down, and then having process controls to ensure you stick to it. Because it's one thing to say it in between your ears, right? In your head, be like, wow, I really want to hit Success Club this month. And then you just get busy with life. And it's easy to have everything take a back burner, but setting goals and writing it down and seeing where you can see it, and then having things in place to make sure that you'll stick to your plan, because it's just like committing to a workout program and then having your workout calendar. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're like, oh, I know what I need to do today. And having that plan and knowing what's expected. And then, even on those days when you're not feeling it, just knowing what your end goal is. Like, I want to finish these 30 days of Core de Force. I have to do plyo today. And even though you don't feel like doing it, knowing that you'll be proud of yourself when you get it done. So sticking to a plan. And then also a big thing, and I was listening to the 12-week year, which I'm going to buy the actual copy, and I want to do the next week's call on the 12-week year and goal setting and all that stuff. But they were talking about peer support, and that your success rate is 7 times greater if you employ peer support. They were talking about how there was a study done on this thing called Change or Die, which followed people that had severe medical conditions, where in a course of 12 months, they followed these people and surveyed them. And basically it's people that was like, okay, you need to make these big lifestyle changes or else you might die. And 90% of them, 90% that did it on their own reverted back to their old habits. That's crazy, right? And you all should be saying, right, that is insane. 90% of them went back to their old habits. That's like someone having a hole in their throat and being like, you can't smoke cigarettes. And they're like, okay. And they go for 1 month, and then they're like those people smoking cigarettes out of the hole in their neck. Like that kind of crazy stuff. And what they had found is the people that were a part of a peer support group that met on a consistent basis, that talked about their struggles, that talked about their progress, that their day-to-day life, the things that they wanted to celebrate, and just what we do as coaches, what we do in our challenge groups, right? Where we have good days, we have bad days, but we share them together. That had an 80% success rate. An 80% success rate. And so there's power in the sense of being a part of the community and talking to people, and because it's one thing to come on the team calls and then be like, okay, and then go and do your own thing. But it's a whole nother when you find 2 or 3 people on our team, or even other Beachbody coaches that are not on our team, that you connect with and you mesh with, and you guys start talking on a consistent basis. I am seeing it firsthand in our Core de Force test group, where we paired people up as accountability partners, and the people that had both accountability partners that were in it, and they were consistently posting and talking to each other, versus those that had maybe one person fall off or they both fell off. The success rate is outstanding. I am seeing this statistic firsthand in our Core de Force test group. So that's something to seriously consider, that, just having a weekly accountability, check in with people, not necessarily to be like, you didn't do your invites, but rather to just have that sense of oh man, I'm around these people, and here's what I said I wanted to do this week. I said I wanted to talk to 50 people and invite them to my next challenge group, and that I was going to commit every single day to doing my workouts and drinking my Shakeology and posting on my social media, and then committing back and talking to these people that, you can be like, oh man, this happened this week. I know that's not an excuse. This is how I plan on dealing with it later. These are my new set of goals for this upcoming week. This is just giving you ideas on how to have that growth mindset and how to continue to evolve and become the best version of you that you can be. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Oh, less than a minute. Hey! It's pretty much what I wanted to say for this team call. And that, you know, I listened to a call from Carl Deichler today that told his heart was on his sleeve, and he called all of us coaches superheroes, and that what we do really makes a difference, and that we could save someone's life. But first, before anything else, we have to put our own oxygen mask on first. And that's what these last 20 days represent, is putting your own oxygen mask on first so that you can make the difference that you know you want to make in 2017. It starts with